Okay, so this is your example for your draw it. You should have already tried the draw it. And now you're going to watch what I do and check yourself to make sure that you have a handle on what we have to do here. So we have a list of numbers. We've got, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8. We've got 9 numbers to work with. Our first job is, of course, to put them in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. I include this step for you to see because I want you to make sure that you're double checking that you do this step. If you do not do this step, or if you try to do it from this list, you're probably going to goof yourself up. So the very first logical step here is to always put your list in order from least to greatest. So I see that I've got a minimum number of 1 and I've got a maximum number of 22, my first number and my last number in my list. And now I'm ready to start with my quartile 2 or my median on my list. Remember, we start in the middle and then work our way out. So I'm going to count my way in here, and I end up with a median of 13, or quartile 2 of 13. Now remember, I'm not going to include that number in finding my quartile 1. So my quartile 1 are these 4 numbers that I'm going to work with. So I'm going to do this and this, and I end up halfway between 6 and 10. And if you can't see what it is, I can add 6 plus 10 to get 16. And then when I divide 16 by 2, I get 8. 8 is also the number that falls halfway between 6 and 10. So I've got 6, and then I've got 7, and then 8, and then I've got 9, and then I've got 10. So 8 is my number for my quartile 1. Now I'm going to move over here and I'm going to do the same thing for quartile 3. I'm going to count into the median. Well, when I count in, I end up with 18 and 21. So 18 plus 21 gives me a number of 39. When I divide, let me do it over here so you can see it. When I divide 39 by 2, because remember I'm trying to find the median, 2 goes into 3 one time. 1 times 2 is 2. I subtract and bring down, and 2 goes into 19 9 times. And 9 times 2 is 18, and I have 1 left. So I need to add a decimal and a 0, and 2 goes into 10 5 times. So halfway between 18 and 21 is the number 19.5. So my quartile 3 is 19.5. So now I'm ready to construct my box and whisker plot for these numbers. So I have a minimum number at 1. So I'm going to draw kind of a longer line here. And I have a maximum number at 22. Okay. Now I'm ready to plot my 3 lines for my quartiles. So I've got a quartile 1 here at 8. I have a quartile 2 here at 13. And I have a quartile 3 here at 19 and a half. Notice that I am halfway between 19 and 20 here. I go ahead and just kind of connect the dots and draw my lines. So there is my box that includes my quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3. And now you can see when I attach my whiskers, I've got not that many numbers on this end. I've got more of my numbers are on this end. And if I look, I've got kind of more numbers down here. These numbers are, there's a less of a range, okay? Not that there's more numbers or less numbers. This is from 1 to 13, and this is from 13 to 22. So you're gonna have a little bit more of a, between that third quartile and my maximum, there's not as much of a range, okay? So again, this is my minimum line. You don't have to label these, but I want you to see where I'm getting them from. This is my quartile 1 line here, this vertical line. Here's my quartile 2 line or my median line, and here's my quartile 3 or my upper quartile line. So that's how we do a box and whisker plot. The next draw it that you do, you'll do on your own, and I will check it. And then we will take a quiz on it.